The Columbus City Council meeting for February 3rd, 2025 will now come to order. In compliance with the Open Meeting Act, a copy of this act is posted in this meeting room. Sharia, would you please call roll?
Bulkley.
Here.
Alarcon. Here. Barr.
Here.
Hemer.
Here.
Jablonski.
Here.
Lopez. Here. Polinsky.
Here.
Roth.
Here.
Schilling. Mayor Bulkley, the roll has been called.
Thank you. Council President.
Our Father, thank you for the opportunity to serve our fellow citizens. Please give us your wisdom and guidance to make the proper decisions entrusted to this governmental body. May our conduct show respect, honor, and courtesy to each other, as well as to all our citizens. Amen.
Amen.
So proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening. Welcome everyone to tonight's council meeting. If at any time during our meeting this evening, anyone in our audience would like to come forward and address any item on our agenda, we'd invite you to do so. We'd ask that you keep your comments to 5 minutes or less. With that, we'll move on with our consent agenda.
Item 4, consent agenda. The following items are considered to be routine by the City Council and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a City Council member or citizen requests, in which event the item will be removed from the consent status and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda. Item 4A, minutes of the January 20th, 2025 City Council meeting. Item 4B, minutes of the January 20th, 2025 Community Development Agency meeting. Item 4C, minutes of the January 21st Civil Service Commission meeting certifying police officer candidates Zachary Craig, Hector Adame Molina, and Andreas Velasquez. Item 4D, resolution number R25-15 approving the lease agreement with Loop River Public Power District for use of an H beacon for the Columbus Municipal Airport. Item 4E, resolution number R25-16, approving the administrative services agreement with the International Association of Plumbing and Mechanical Officials. Item 4F, resolution number R25-17, authorizing various payments on improvement projects. And item 4G, payroll and bills on file. Mr. Mayor and council members, is there anything you would like removed from consent status?
Mr. Mayor, I move that the items on the consent agenda be approved as presented.
Second. We have a motion and a second to approve. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. Brings us up to special presentations.
Item 6A is the annual report from the Library Board.
Good evening. My name is Amy Mancini. I have the very great pleasure of serving as the president this year for the Columbus Public Library Board, and I am here to present to you our annual report. I'm joined this evening by another library board member. Kathy Kwapnowski is here in our audience. And I will say that this is one of probably the great pleasures of my month, every month, is coming to our library board meetings. We were just discussing before the meeting that we all bring very different perspectives and different backgrounds to the board, but that we really do come together in order to achieve our mission and fulfill the library's vision of making the library a hub, a place of community, a place where people can come together and learn and grow. And so you have before you our annual report, and I just want to take a few moments to talk about some of the key numbers in there and to provide some context and some insight for some of those. I actually want to start on the second page where you see our library mission statement and our vision, but it's the goals and objectives that I'm particularly proud of. I think that in the last year, and granted, we've only been in this building for slightly over a year, right? It's really still pretty exciting. The elevator still smells new. It's awesome. The goals and objectives, though, I'm particularly proud of because this is a board, and let me just be frank, this is a staff, right? We just show up and vote once a month. They do the work. Who has made progress on every single one of these goals and objectives in the last year? On the first one, in the workforce, training and empowering staff, they have made tremendous changes to the staffing, the organization, moving people around into the places where they best fit and can best serve the community, continually hiring additional part-time people as we've had, unfortunately, a lot of turnover in the last year, just like probably most of your businesses have. But really that focus on excellence, that focus on training. Every new person who comes in the library has about a year's worth of training before they're really up to speed. It's a complex job. Efficient services. We set out a goal to review all of our policies. If you'll notice, every single one of the policies for the library has been reviewed within the last year, updated, and passed by our board. Through this process, we've been able to expand services by lowering the age that a child can get their own library card, by expanding people who could receive an electronic library card, by eliminating fines for late books so that people would come back to the library, and no loss of funding there, by the way, because it wasn't really making us any money in the first place, right? Going through naming usage and even making new policies for our makerspace. Community relations, going out and providing a sense of belonging for our community. Programming is up by 31% in the last year. 31% increase in attendance, it's impressive. And finally, collaboration. Our goal from one of the very first times that I met Jerry, our new director, she talked about going out into the community. And this year we've been able to start to see that happen. Recently, they went to and partnered with the hospital, and the Friends of Library, right, are going to start taking books from the bookstore there that have been donated, taking them out to the hospital and fully, what's the word I'm looking for? Staffing? Stocking, that's a great verb. Fully stocking their library out there for patients. It's just another way that our library reaches into the community. On the next page with the numbers, again, you'll see all of our important metrics are up, from the number of card holders, the number of materials checked out, events, event attendance, all of those things. And even our in-person visits. You look at that up and down graph there, where the number of visits is going all over the place, but overall, our trend shows a gradual increase. And with a door count of 220,000 visitors in the last year, this building really is truly a community building. The sister city comparison is particularly interesting. First of all, I would like to point out that it's 2021-22 because we have to go backwards in order to have public numbers from our sister institutions in those cities. And so during the 21-22 year, we were actually in our temporary location across the street still. So at that time, and still, Columbus has the most hours of operation. And yet, we do not have the highest operating expenses. We do not have the highest staff expenses. If you were to divide it out, and I did, it costs us about $400 an hour to operate the library, as compared to Norfolk at $490 an hour, as compared to Fremont at $455 an hour. So we're being tremendously efficient with the resources that we've been provided. This efficiency, though, also dips into, and I really want to pull your attention to the full-time equivalency number there. In Norfolk, with 16 full-time people, they operate 1 circulation desk. In Fremont, with 11 full-time employees, they operate 2. And here in Columbus, with 14 full-time employees, we operate 4. This has been a challenge for our staff. There is no question. Staffing and retaining staff and fully staffing all of those circulation desks has continued to be a challenge. If there is one thing that is not the bright and shining moment, that's probably where it is. That's where we feel the pinch point the most. As you go down into circulation and events and all of those other things, you can see even, when we were in our temporary location, we were ranking, right there in the middle. Now, knowing that all of our numbers are increasing, I would anticipate that when we come back next year, that we would be number 1 in many of those areas. I also want to point out that our spending on things like materials and so forth was also smaller during that time. We weren't going to purchase a whole bunch of things to be in that temporary location. It was so tiny, right? Like, we were keeping up, but we were not really expanding. And they've been able to do that with the new space. As you can see there with the materials collection, again, just kind of in the middle there, but again, not spending fully. And the final page just really points out how grateful we are to the library's generous donors. It is not without the support of the city, the support of our donors, and particularly the support of our patrons. It wouldn't be possible. It is truly something to be proud of. And with that, I will accept any questions about the library. And I have wonderful people here who can help me answer those questions.
I have a quick question
Yes.
concerning the donations made for the library construction
Yes.
and the donor board that was supposed to be up.
Many.
When might we expect that to be complete?
That has been a long process. We've probably looked at 3 or 4 different versions of the donor wall. Unfortunately, I think between materials, between spaces, the artists, it's just been a long process. Jerry, do you have an anticipated date? Are we still going through? You're welcome to. Yeah, I just know we've gone through. It hasn't been from lack of effort. Let me put it there.
So we have a whole new foundation board. The foundation board that we had when I got here had all served 3 or 4 terms through the process, been on the board for 10 years. And when they got the building finished, they left the board. And so we have a whole new board and only 1 member of the board. So we're having a lot of education, getting up to speed. But they have picked a company and they're waiting for some drawings and that sort of thing. So hopefully it will be done. But we do have all the signage over the named rooms. That's completed. The sculpture that's going to go out in the courtyard, the design has all been done and approved and the deposit has been paid. We're just waiting for them to finish the actual project, and that'll probably be put in the spring because it'll have to be put in the ground. I think that's as far as they've gotten.
Do we have a date?
I can't give you a date.
I would venture to say that there are some donors that are concerned that it's been a long time since they made the donation and there's no recognition.
I think that's a fair statement, and we recognize that. We do talk about it quite a bit at our board meetings. So we'll continue to press the gas pedal on that one.
Any other questions or concerns? thank you for an excellent report.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to new business.
Item 13A, appointment of Laura Hespin as a police officer.
Council members, with your permission, the mayor wishes to submit the name of Laura Hespin for conditional appointment as police officer, subject to successful completion of all tests and training. The Civil Service Commission certified this candidate at their August 20th, 2024 meeting. Per council rules, the 2-week waiting period for the appointment of a police officer is waived. Laura Hespin is a resident of Columbus, Nebraska. She graduated from Schuyler High School, has taken coursework at Central Community College. She has past experience as a correctional officer for the Platte County Sheriff's Office and served in the U.S. Marine Corps Reserves for 3 years. Laura has attended the Nebraska Law Enforcement Training Center and is currently employed as a deputy sheriff at the Butler County Sheriff's Office. Ms. Hespin will participate in the Columbus Police Department's field training program, and this is a budgeted item. Council members, I'd entertain a motion for this appointment.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve this appointment. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by aye, those opposed nay. Motion approved. Laura is with us this evening, and we'd ask her to please come forward and introduce yourself to the council and our community, and let us welcome you to Columbus.
Good evening. I'm Laura Hespin. It is a pleasure to be with you this evening. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and good luck.
Quick question, why law enforcement?
You know, it was something I fell into when I came home from the military. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I worked in my MOS at the time, which was supply admin. I quickly realized that's not what I wanted to do. When I was working corrections for Platte County, I genuinely enjoyed it and wanted to further my career in this field.
Great.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
You guys have a great evening.
Thank you.
Item 13B, application from the American Heart Association Incorporated for a special designated liquor license at 4174 63rd Avenue from 5 p.m. to 10:59 p.m. on February 27th, 2025 for a fundraiser.
Mr. Mayor, I move the application from the American Heart Association, Inc. for a special designated liquor license be approved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. We have a motion and a second to approve this liquor license for a designated liquor license. Any further discussion?
I had a quick question. Is there a representative here from, could you come forward and introduce yourself, please?
Hi, my name is Jamie Scott. I am a resident of Columbus and I'm a nurse at the hospital as well. And I'm this year's event chair for the fundraiser.
Two questions. Number one, why is the time so specific at 10:59? Or, yes, 10:59 p.m.
That's a good question. Typically the event's over by 9 or 10, but then I think they keep it a little later for cleanup. I'm not sure. I would say 11 o'clock, but yeah. I didn't submit the application. Maybe it was a typo.
Thank you. The question number two, you're having this event at the venue?
The brand new Prime 10 Steakhouse and venue, yes.
Do they not have a liquor license?
They should, yes. This is for a special license because we have liquor items and our silent auction packages, and that is what the application's for.
Yes, we have previously approved a liquor license for the venue and the steakhouse, but this is a special event that they needed to do their homework for and get that for that,
Yep,
this
we
event.
submit one every year,
It's
so
it's an awesome, you guys do a wonderful job.
we still have tables available
Yeah.
if anybody wants to come.
Good pitch, I like
It'll be
it.
fun. Any other questions?
Thank you very much.
All right,
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion passes.
Item 13C, application from SKL LLC doing business as Maria's Authentic Mexican Cuisine Riverside Lounge for addition to their liquor license at 265 33rd Avenue to include the ballroom area.
Mr. Mayor, I move the application from SKL LLC for addition to a liquor license be approved.
Second?
We have a motion and a second to approve this addition to the liquor license for SKL LLC. Any questions?
Yes, is there a representative from,
Of course. Please come forward. You want to talk to him?
yes, please.
My name is Stephen Long, and I'm a representative of SKL LLC.
The application is for the ballroom area, which is on the west side of the building, as I recall.
Yes.
No,
Is there
east side.
a liquor
side.
license? Excuse me?
It's on the east side.
The way I read the application, the ballroom area is
This
to
one's,
the west of the
this one's not
dining
for the-
area.
Oh, yes.
Is there a liquor license for the courtyard?
Yes.
Who holds that liquor license?
SKL.
I did not see that as being on the application. I saw the lounge area and the dining area, but I didn't see the courtyard area
We
as
have
being
it approved
on
for
the
the-
application.
The courtyard's already approved. We just wanted to do an addition for the ballroom by itself.
I'm assuming what we're doing is because it's a lease you're leasing this from those owners, you have to get approval for the different areas you're
Yeah.
operating in.
Yeah.
And that's what you're in front of us for now, is basically an addition, which
Yeah.
is good.
Yeah, my concern is I didn't see the courtyard area on the application as being an existing licensed area.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, it is existing. So the courtyard and then the bar and the lounge.
All
Or
right,
the restaurant, I'm sorry.
thank you.
Any further questions? Thank you for coming forward. Yes,
I
sir.
have a question for Neil. This says application license to be approved. We're not approving the license. I think our language is wrong again.
Yeah, you're recommending approval to the Liquor Commission for their approval.
So that should say recommended, not
It should
approved.
be, yeah, recommending approval to the Liquor Commission.
Thank you.
So would you like to amend the recommendation?
Yes.
Your motion to recommend approval?
I would do that.
Would you?
And I think it should have been done on the first application, too.
And our second would?
not the SDL.
What's that?
We approve those locally, this SDL.
Oh,
Or I guess this one will go to the
Will
state.
go? This one will, but not the one above.
This one will go.
The one above was a designated, a special,
Okay.
okay?
Right.
Okay, we all on the same page here? Okay,
I'm getting there.
all right. So we have amended our motion for a recommendation approval. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by aye, those opposed nay. Motion passes.
Item 13D, quote from SEI in the amount of $25,230.15 for camera system upgrades for the North Water Treatment Plant.
Move that
Water
the quote from
production.
SCI for camera system upgrades be accepted.
Second?
We have a motion and a second to approve the camera upgrades for the North Water Treatment Plant. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by aye, those opposed nay. Motion passes.
Item 13E, quote from No Sweat Fencing and Decks in the amount of $13,895 for gate repairs for the wastewater treatment plant. This is CIP number 25-46.
Mr. Mayor, I move for the quote for no sweat fencing and decks for gate repairs be accepted.
Second?
We have a motion and a second to approve the quote from No Sweat Fencing for gate repairs. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by aye, those opposed nay. Motion passes.
Item 13F, quote from Clock Tower Auto Mall in the amount of $18,000 for a trade-in allowance for a vehicle for the police department. This is CIP 21-08.
Mr. Mayor, I move the quote from Clock Tower Auto Mall for a police vehicle be accepted.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to accept the quote for a police vehicle from Clock Tower Auto Mall. Any further discussion? Yes, sir?
Well, I'd like to, is this the oldest vehicle in the police fleet? Do we know that?
Well, Chief, did you,
What was the question?
is this the oldest that we have? I know you're rotating them out in
Yeah.
your system, but is it Councilman Barr asked if it was the oldest in the system?
I don't know if it's the oldest vehicle in the fleet, but we take a look at the mileage.
Okay.
We take a look at the equipment, how it's maintained, and if it's got less mileage and it's in better condition than some of the newer vehicles, then one of the newer vehicles would go, if it's gonna cost us more to maintain.
So it's a nickel and dimer is what it is?
Right.
Okay.
And so what we're taking a look at is, one comes in, one goes out.
Yeah.
And we take a look at what's the best ones to keep versus, getting rid of those that are gonna cost us more.
Then my second question would be, we only have the one quote?
I think they looked over various lots in town, and this is the best deal they could come up with.
Okay.
But we do try to take a look at all the local lots and talk to them about the vehicles they have available and what's the best fit for us for the best price.
Very good. Thank you, Chief.
Any other questions for Chief? All right. Thank you, Chief. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion passes.
Item 13G, plans, specifications, and estimate of cost in the amount of $250,000 and authorization to advertise for bids for the 11th Street sidewalk improvements, CDBG 23-DTR-003. The plans and specifications are on file in the engineering department. This is CIP number 24-05.
Mr. Mayor, I move that the plans and specifications, estimate and cost be approved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the plans and specifications and estimate of costs for the 11th Street sidewalk improvements. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion passes.
Item 13H, comments from the mayor and council members. In compliance with the Open Meetings Act, no discussion may be held on this item.
I do have a couple of items. Do any council members have any items this evening? Well, first, I would like to, the public maybe knows and saw it over the weekend, but Friday afternoon, we were working on our roofs on our shelters in our parks, and took the roof off because we were going to re-roof our shelters. And on the west shelter, the foundation and those pillars holding the roof up crumbled. Absolutely just
Really?
came down. And then the ones that didn't, if you leaned into them, they couldn't support your body. So the roof was basically supporting things and making it work as it was supposed to at the time. So anyway, make a long story short, first of all, I wanted the public to know that if they had not seen it online or listened to a neighbor or somebody that maybe drove through the park. That's number one. Number two, we will move to Plan B, which I don't know what Plan B is yet because Plan A was to re-roof it. Now Plan B will be come up with the package that we need to do to put a shelter back on the west side. So I want the public to feel comfortable that we are moving forward with doing that. It certainly was not planned and expected, but any of you that have done home improvements understand that when you tear into something, you think you've covered all your bases, and many times you haven't, and something happens, and this is one of those cases. The other thing that happened, and many of you may be aware of it, is our police chief has announced his retirement, And I wanted to acknowledge that to the public, acknowledge that to the council. And Chief is here. I don't know if he wanted to say anything. It's up to Chief right now if he wanted to get up and acknowledge anything, or, you know, I don't want to put you on the spot, Chief.
You kind of did.
But I guess I did.
Well, first and foremost, I want to thank you, city administration, mayor, city administrator, city council, for your support over the last few years. I've been with the city of Columbus for 27 years, 20 as police captains, both as police support captain and police patrol captain, and 7 as your chief. And I think what really brought this to a catalyst was there comes a point in time in your career, I've done law enforcement for 46 years, and you got to ask yourself, and my officers asked me this, what's next, Chief? What's next? What's next on the horizon? And after 46 years, I've accomplished everything I've set out to do. I don't know that there was any more visions for me to go after. And so if I don't have any more visions to go after, it's time for me to pass the torch to somebody else with some vision. Because I think I've done all I've set out to do. I've accomplished everything I've set out to accomplish. And I'm proud of the accomplishments that I made with my officers and staff, with the support of the mayor, the city administrator, and the city council. We couldn't have been successful without you all. So for that, I'd like to thank you. I'd like to thank the community. One of the most important things that we've got is a new building because of the respect the community had for us. We're very grateful for that. And so I hope that whoever the next leader is can take them into the millennium with new and fresh ideas and be as professional as they have been for me. So thank you all for your support. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you, Chief. Okay, and I do have one more thing. I don't know if any of you noticed or if maybe you heard it or something, but we have a special event here this evening. We have a council member that has a birthday, and I wanted to take a moment and wish him a happy birthday. You know, our fire chief isn't here, so I guess I could have lit this, but
don't have enough candles.
Well, it couldn't hold all the candles.
Well, thank you. That's
Happy
a nice
birthday,
gesture.
Rich.
Thank you. I will enjoy that on the way
Birthday, Rich.
Happy birthday.
All right, brings us up to resolutions.
Item 14A, resolution number R25-18, adopting city council rules.
Mr. Mayor, I move for the adoption of resolution number R25-18.
Second. We have a motion and a second to adopt resolution number R25-18. Any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor signify by aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. Meeting adjourned. Oh, there's a piece of
Happy birthday.